All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be going over entering donations. We're going to go over kind of what each field, what the field's purpose is, and also I'm going to give you a couple tips that might make entering those donations a little more efficient, a little faster for you. So I'm Rachel Klein. On your GoToWebinar toolbar, you do have the option to shrink up that screen a little bit to give you some more space on your monitor. So on the GoToWebinar toolbar, there's a small orange box with a white arrow in it. It'll be left or right facing depending upon where you've placed it on your screen. But if you hit that arrow, it'll actually shrink up that window for you, give you some more space. Josh is logged in with us today as well, and he is happy to help answering questions. So there is a question section on the toolbar. If you expand that, feel free to type in any questions you might have regarding today's topic. If you have a question that's a little more detailed or specific to your data, or if you have a question that's actually off topic, we're definitely happy to help and answer that question for you. But for those specific questions, I would ask that you give us a call on our support line, or you can email us at support@churchwindows.com, and we'd be happy to give you an answer that way. All right, so entering donations. Let me go ahead and open up the donations module here. So entering donations right here on this main screen, here's your picture with your little calculator here. This is kind of what this module is all about. So entering donations is going to probably happen once a week. It's probably going to happen either on a Sunday or when you get in the beginning of the week. And basically you're entering every gift that you've received. So people are getting the proper credit for those gifts that they've made to the church. So there's a lot of fields or a lot of options that you have on this enter donation screen. You don't have to use all of them. Some of them the program does require you to fill in, but some of them you have the option to turn off. So I want to start by showing you these little light switches. They're on several of these fields. So these little light switches can be turned on or turned off. So if you don't need to track a batch code, a payment method, a checker reference number, or put in any comments, you can simply click on that light switch and it's going to turn that field off or gray it out so you don't have to enter the information in. Okay, so just some options. So if you are just doing the basics, you just need to know the date, the giver, and the amount, and the giving account. You could turn off those other fields by clicking on the light switch so it shows red, and that will gray out the fields for you so you can just skip right over them. Also, while you're entering donations, you can do everything right on your keyboard. You actually don't have to grab your mouse at all. That can be done by hitting the tab keys on your keyboard or the tab key on your keyboard, and also the arrow or the directional keys on your keyboard as well. This will allow you to tab through each field quickly. You can also type in, and I'll show you how to do this, but you can also just use numbers to jump to a specific date or a specific giving account or a specific giver, and you can also use your letters to get to giving accounts or people quickly. All right, so let's walk through a couple of these, and I'm going to show you what each field's purpose is on this enter donation screen. So first thing you have to put in is your donation date. You have to enter this. Donations relies heavily on the date that is put on different batches. So a couple ways you can enter the date. If you're going with using your mouse, you can hit the down arrow here, and you can actually select the date that you want. Next to the month, you have directional arrows. You can jump back to different months or even different years if you ever needed to do that. If you want today's date, there's a today button down at the bottom. If you click that, it's automatically going to put in the 21st, which is today. But if you want this past Sunday's date, you can go ahead and simply click on the 18 and it's going to type that date in. If you're going with straight keyboard method, you can simply type in what you want. So we would type in, what was last Sunday, the 18th? Is that what I said? Yeah. So you would simply type in 09/18/2016. No dashes, no slashes, strictly the 8 digits to make up the date. Okay? Once you get your date in, you can then hit tab or click over in the batch code box, whichever you like, and you can select your batch code. So batch code is optional. We know that because we see the light switch. Batch codes are simply a way to organize donations that come in for the same date. So as you use different dates, your batches will be separated by those dates. But let's say, for example, you have multiple services on a Sunday, and you actually want to keep the giving from those multiple services as separate batches. You can do that by selecting a batch code. So an example would be to create a batch code like we see here with either a 9 o'clock service, 10:30 service, or whatever times your services take place. You could call them early morning, late morning, whatever is logical to you and how your services are set up, but you would simply pick the batch code that you want, and you would enter all the donations for that batch. You would post it, and then you would come back up and hit this new batch button, and then you could then enter your donations for your other service. So batch code is an option. You don't have to use it if you do have multiple services, but you prefer to keep the giving as one lump sum. Then once again, you could just simply turn off the batch code field and not use it. Okay? So that's what a batch code does. I'm going to just switch it off for now. Then we're coming down to the giver box. This is going to be the person or who made the donation. This could be a group, it could be a company, it could be just an individual person. But if you hit the down arrow here, you're going to see your listing of everybody that you have in church windows. Now, with that being said, you also have a little checkbox here that says inactive and terminated. If this box is unchecked, you're only going to see those active people showing up in your list. So terminated people or inactive people will be left off. Now, let's say you have a donation that has come in from someone that's left the church or passed away, maybe an estate made a donation. If that's the case, and you need to find someone who's been terminated or marked inactive, you want to check this box here, and then that's going to then allow you to pick anyone that might be terminated or marked as inactive from the list below of givers. Okay? So also you have this field that says sort by giver number. If this sort by giver number field is checked, I get a lot of questions on this. If this box is checked, that is going to organize your list of givers numerically by their giver number. If this box is unchecked, it's going to then sort this list alphabetically. So if you ever type in, say, number 2, for example, and you're not getting giver number 2 pop up right away, you're getting all these other numbers, that's probably because the sort by giver box is unchecked, and therefore it's sorting anyone who has a 2 alphabetically. Okay, so my recommendation is if you're entering by giver numbers, you want to make sure that sort by giver number is checked, and then when you type in the number, it's going to go right to that. We don't have anybody that has number 2, but if we type in 12, it's going to go right to those people. Okay, so make sure if you're entering by giver number, you have this box checked. If you're just doing it alphabetically, you'd want to remove the check mark. All right, so for my example, we're going with Lucy. So I'm going to type number 4. Here's Miss Lucy, and I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter, and that's going to select her. And then you can see my cursor is now automatically over in the amount box, waiting for me to enter how much her donation is for. Now, before we do that, I want to show you 2 things. Let me grab my highlighter. Right here you have a little blue ribbon. This blue ribbon is going to show you the pledging information for the person who is selected in the box. So if you don't do pledges, this won't apply to you, but if you are a pledging church, if you hit this little blue ribbon, it is in fact going to show you what this person's pledging information is. And Lucy does in fact have some pledging information. Okay, so it's just a helpful window to reference if they pledge, and if so, how much they've pledged, what their frequency is, and what they've given thus far. Okay. Little blue ribbon's pretty helpful. A lot of people don't know it's there, so now you know. You also have this little green plus sign. This little green plus sign is going to be super helpful if you have to add a new person. So say you go to type someone's name in and they don't come up, meaning they aren't entered into the program, and you need to put them in to get their donation entered. You're going to hit this little green plus sign, and it's going to give you several options for where you want this person added. If this person needs to go into the membership side, you're either going to choose add member or add visitor. So if it's a brand new person, this is the first time they've come in, you don't know who they are, I would recommend going with add visitor. This is going to put them over in the visitor side of membership. If it's a new person and you want to put them right in as a member, maybe they just joined and this is the first time they've made a donation, you would use the add member. That would put them into membership members. Now, if this person is a one-time giver and you know they're not going to join the church, then you'd want to go down to either this donations individual or donations group. These two options are only going to add the person into the donations side of church windows. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're picking where to put someone. All right, let me erase my drawing here. Let me get Lucy back in. All right, next is the amount box. This is the total amount of the donation that they've made. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in $100. I'm going to hit my tab again. And now my screen or my cursor has jumped into the payment method box. Once again, payment method has a light switch. You can either specify a payment method or you can hit the down arrow to turn the field off. It is up to you if you want to record payment method or not. Now, with that being said, if you choose check as your payment method, you have to then put in a check or reference number. Okay, you cannot choose a payment method of check and not put in a check or reference number. The program will not allow you. So if you pick check, you got to put in what the check number is or put in some type of reference number. If you're going with cash or EFT or something else, then you don't need to specify the check or reference number. Donations comments. This is another option. This would be if you wanted to record some comments with the donation. You can get donation comments to print on reports. It's really up to you if you care to give any more information than their name and the amount they gave and the giving account that they want their gift to go to. Once again, it's an option. If you don't need to put comments in, you can hit the light switch and simply turn it off. All right, next we're down to our giving account. This is where you need to choose what giving account these people want their money to go towards. Okay, so these are going to be all of your giving accounts that you've currently set up. You can scroll down through the list to find the one you want. If you're just doing your keyboard, you're trying to not use the mouse to be a little more efficient, you can simply type in the number of the giving account, or you can even type in the name to get the one to pop up that you need. Okay. After you find the account in the list that you want, you can hit tab or hit enter. It's going to select it and then automatically jump over to your amount box. So let's say, for example, for Lucy, she has 2 different giving accounts she wants her $100 to go to. If that's the case, we would then say change our amount box to 50. You can hit tab and that's going to take you to this comments section. By default in donations, when you print our windowed envelope, when you're running a donation statement, whatever you put in this comments field is going to print in the detail section of the donation statement. So if you have a comment that you wish to see print on this person's giving statement or donation statement, you put the comments in right here, and those will appear in the detail section, so the top half of someone's donation statement. Once again, you don't have to put comments in here. You can leave it blank if you don't want to. But then from this point, we have one more line item we have to get in. You can hit tab, and that's going to create you another line item with the balance of their total donation. Or you can come over here and hit the plus sign. That will also jump you to another line item. Then from here, you can pick the giving account that you wish. Then you can hit enter or tab, adjust the amount if you need to. Say there's 3 places Lucy wants her money split out to, you can do that as well. Say you accidentally get an extra line item in here. Say you hit tab one too many times, or you accidentally hit the plus. If you ever need to remove a line item, you're going to hit this minus sign right here. That's going to clear that additional extra line item that you don't need. Okay, once you have your donation entered, a couple things you can do. You can hit done add to batch, and it's going to put the donation down here below, or you can simply hit end on your keyboard, and that will also enter the donation down below in the lower half of the screen. So it's really important between each person. So say we get Lucy entered, then we need to go put donations in for Bob. You have to add the donation to the unposted donations batch at the bottom and then go up to the next person. So between each person, you need to be clicking N or hitting done add to batch. Okay? And after I hit my end button, you can see my cursor is now up here in the giver box waiting for me to select my next individual. And then I can put in how much their gift is for. I'm going to hit tab, and now I'm going to hit my down arrow. I'm going to say they gave a check, so I'm going to use my arrows to select check. I'm going to hit tab. I'm going to enter in my check number. I'm going to hit tab again, and it's going to jump down to my giving account. Now there's one more thing I want to show you in the list. I can set this list up to print whatever, or to show, I should say, whatever giving account I want to see first. There are 2 little buttons here. You have a plus sign, and you also have these 3 little dots. If you need to add a giving account, say you're working on a batch, you have a new giving account you need to set up, you can hit this plus sign here, and it's going to take you to the Add Giving Account screen, where you can simply go in and set up your new giving account that you need. You also have these 3 little dots. This is going to allow you to change this order that your giving accounts are going to be appearing in. So say, we've been using the building fund a lot more recently. I want to actually put building fund up above general fund. If that's the case, you hit this little dot, dot, dot button, and you can simply highlight the account you need to move, and then use these up and down arrows off to the right to jump it up in the list. Say OK, and now click through this, we'll look at that. But now coming back in here, we can see that our building fund is now above our general fund in the list. Okay, so real slick to go in and change your account order here. All right, so here's let me switch it to building. Here's my last donation. I'm going to hit my done add to batch, or hit my enter key on my keyboard, and it's going to pop down below, and now I have 2 entries, one for Lucy and one for Jake. Okay. You also have a couple tabs over here I want to show you real quick, a detail tab and an account tab. This is just going to change how this lower half of the enter donation screen is going to display. So right now it's on detail. It's going to be organized by each entry and each giver. I can hit the plus sign to see the details if I wish. But you can also jump over to the account tab, and it's going to give you totals per giving account. So this is nice too if you want to see the amounts organized by giving account. Okay. You also have print options down here at the bottom as well. A lot of people like to print out a report before they post it to double check themselves. You can definitely do that by using this print button. Say you want to save the batch, you got to go run an errand, or you want to save the batch and come back and work on it later. If that's the case, you would go to the Save Batch button. It will save it without posting, and you can come back in. Once the batch is completed, you can hit this Post button, and that will post the entries to the Donations module. You also have a Post and Transfer. If you're using the accounting module, this button will in fact post the transactions to Donations, and then it will open up the Transfer to Accounting screen where you can then post the donations over to the accounting side. Also, if you're working down here, let's say we're working with Lucy and we find that we accidentally pick the wrong giving account. If you need to make a correction to something that you've already put down here, or say you just need to delete something entirely, that can all be done by using either this Edit button or this Remove button. So say we need to edit Lucy's donation. We click to highlight it, we hit this Edit button, and it's going to move that gift back up to the top half of the screen where we can then make any adjustments that we would need to do. Make sure once you've made your changes, you hit Done, Add to Batch, and it puts Lucy back down below. Then if you need to remove something, say you just totally entered it wrong and you don't need it, you would highlight the entry and hit Remove. And it'll ask you, are you sure? You could either say yes or no. Okay, so we're right at 21 minutes. I went a little over, but let me look at questions here and see if I can help Josh with answering any questions. Looks like he's got a lot of them answered. If you have any questions regarding entering donations, feel free to type them in the questions section on the GoToWebinar toolbar, and we will do our best to answer them for you. And then we'll close up shop if we don't get any questions coming in. All right, you're welcome. I'm glad you learned something or you're understanding how this works. I hope today you learned something that will also help you make your job a little easier or have you work a little more efficiently when you're entering donations. I know that's can be a big I know that can take a lot of time, I should say. So if anything we can do to help make that more efficient is really great. All right, if you're typing, go ahead and hit send for me real quick. I don't want to knock you out if you're typing, but we are about 3 minutes over. So just go ahead and send it, and then we'll get it answered for you. All right, doesn't look like any questions are coming in. I'm going to go ahead and close the webinar. If you come up with anything after it's done, feel free to call us or email us at support@churchwindows.com, and we will be happy to help you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks.